Next we're going to make the top plate. Now this top plate is what connects onto your extruder. Now I'm assuming that you've already countersunk the countersunk holes, the holes to be countersunk, and this is the top face. So we're going to be gluing some stuff to the underneath face, so we're just going to pop that down like this. I'm going to get my gluing platform again. Now these are all, I've set these up in order. This first part, well, these two parts need to correlate together. So I'll just pop that in here. And this is handed. So if it doesn't actually go in, you can't really flip it around to put it together. We actually have to do a little bit of filing. So it looks like I'm going to have to file the edges off this one. Sometimes the acrylic is not consistent. In fact, quite often it's not a consistent 3mm. You buy 3mm acrylic, but it tends to vary between 2.6 or 2.7 through to 3.3, 3.4. So where there is variation, sometimes we've just got to do a little bit of adjustment. Now that should go in like that. So there we go. And that should sit right on these two little holes here. Those two holes there need to align with those two holes here. We'll just pop that there. And this little square piece, the square cutout, needs to align with this hole here. So they're all in line. This is just a relief for the bearing. So this bearing sort of sits in here, and that's clearance for the bearing. It might be a good idea just to pop some screws in here. So I'm just making sure that this stays in the right spot when we glue it. Like this. Now we want to take those screws out pretty quickly, because they do, the glue does hang around in the thread, and goes all gooey in there. So now that that's assembled together like that, I'm just going to dip a bit of glue in there, and the surface tension from the glue will actually hold all the parts together. And just flood it. Now once that's done, we just want to make sure that these two pieces are in line with each other. So we get a square edge along here. Now we're just going to leave that to set, and it'll just take a few minutes. Alright, so while that's doing that, I'm just going to bend up this little piece here. Now we're going to make a striker for the end stops. So this little striker will hit a little switch that tells the machine that it's hit the end of its path, or the end of its travel. Now to do that, we're just going to make a little loop that has a 3mm hole in the center of it, and I'll just grab the needle nose pliers and just start working that around. So we end up with something like that. Now I'm just going to bend that so that it sits like that. Now I'm just going to measure 10 millimeters. from the crook, which is about there. Grab that and just bend it at 90 degrees like this. So if I pop my hands in here, I don't think it's going to focus. But if you can see that, I'm just going to bend it straight up. Like that. So we've got something that looks like that. There we go. Before we put that aside, just make sure that the screw does actually go through there, which it does. Okay, so this will hopefully have set by now, or stuck. Sometimes they do actually get a little bit crooked. So hopefully, you know, if there's a little bit of pliability left in it, just make sure that that's all square. So this face is square through there. I'll take that screw out. Take both of them out. All right, so we've got that piece. This piece needs to now marry up with this piece. And if I line those up there like this, let's get that out of the way. I don't know if you can see those holes in here. These two holes here line up with these two holes here. We'll flip that across there like that. And actually what we'll do first, we've just got one of these little spaces, and that little spacer sits on here. These ones sit on here. Machine screws through here. Actually, I might do this one first because it'll go out of alignment. Into our threaded part. And there's our carriage. Just check that all of your bearings, or that this bearing isn't actually touching the acrylic through here. So it'll sit in plan view, you'll see something, it'll kind of appear out there somewhere. But it's going to sit in underneath here. So I'll just pop that on there. Bit of a delicate operation, this one. I should mention that if you can't do this this nut up with your little spanner or your shifter, that you can get in there with the pliers quite easily, needle nose pliers, and do that up there. We're not quite finished yet. We've got one more thing to do, and that's to tap these two little holes through here. If you've got a tap that's got a 3mm shaft on it, not one of the ones like this that has a 3.5 to 4mm shaft, it's this is going to be easier. If you do have one of these shafts, we're going to have to do this by eye. I haven't got a jig that's going to help us, but if you've got one with the 3mm, we can use our 3mm jig to be able to do this, but we're just going to do it backwards, use it backwards. So just hold that in there and tap it like this. Until you feel it come through the other side, and that should continue on its merry way, nice and square. tap it all the way through. Pull that out again. Now this needs to be done when the glue is fully set, otherwise these parts will come apart. Mine's not quite fully set, so I can feel it just separating here. But we'll see if I can chance the other one as well. Now we're done.